Have you ever wondered why kids can be so brutal, harsh, rough, and vicious? Well, that can be from playing violent video games. Today, I will tell you why violent video games are dangerous. This is a very serious subject that must be addressed. A subject like this can be prevented and reduced if we are more informed on this topic. I'm someone who has played video games since I was a little kid. I played a variety of video games, especially violent video games. I know what effects it can bring to people. In this speech, first I will tell you how violent video games affect people. Then I will tell you how so many people get involved with violent video games. Lastly, I will tell you how it can be resolved and what we must do in the future. First, I will tell you how violent video games affect people. They can increase aggression. According to the APA, or the American Psychological Association, which researches a lot with the mental of the human brain, says that violent video games like Mortal Kombat or Doom can increase aggressive thoughts and behavior that can translate towards their actual life. Not only do they say that, they also say in their journal called Personality of Social Psychology that violent video games may be more harmful than violent television and movies because they are more interactive. This is important because developing this type of behavior at a young age can carry on to them as adults, which can make them more dangerous and unpredictable in our community. Now that you know how it affects people, I will tell you how so many kids and adults get involved. Kids in a generation play a lot of video games, especially violent video games. Technology is evolving before our eyes, and more kids are going to play video games at a young age. By playing at a young age, that is how they get exposed to any type of video game, like violent video games. Well, you might say that it won't happen because their parents are around. That might be true, but parents are not watching their kids all the time and what they play. And parents are not watching their kids all the time. So, in that span of them not watching, that is how the kids and the youth get exposed. BusinessInsider.com, who do their research on trending topics and important topics, got research from the American Psychological Association in 2018. They said that games can bring out a range of emotions, including frustration and anger. Once again, this type of behavior starts at a young age, then it transitions to adults that are around our community today, which is, again, very dangerous. Now that you know how so many people get involved, I will now tell you how it can be resolved and what we must do in the future. As adults and parents, it is very important to check video games before letting your kids or the youth play them. There are ERSB ratings on video games for certain ages. ERSB is a software company that do ratings to protect the kids and help the adults. For example, they got E for everyone, which is basically for all ages. They got T for teen, which means you could play from the age 13 and up. M for mature, which is mainly for adults and includes a lot of violence. These ratings inform parents and consumers so they can make the right decision. In the future, violent video game activity can be reduced, at least for the youth. This can be reduced by paying attention more to the ratings and how they behave. Health.harvard.edu had an article about violent video games in 2010. Harvard is one of the top colleges in the nation, and they have a really good health program. They said that violent video games cause concern that exposure to aggressive or violence in video games over time can pick them emotionally, cause nightmares and sleep problems, also impact school performance and lead to aggressive behavior and lead to bullying. This is something that can be fixed and will be solved soon. Now that you know how this issue can be fixed, we can recap. In conclusion, violent video games are dangerous and can be a threat to the youth and the young kids. In this speech, you learn how violent video games affect people, how people get involved, and how it can be prevented. And if we all work together, we can reduce the effects of violent video games on people, especially the young kids and the youth. Not only does it make our community better, it can also help future generations to come.